students. My name is Dusan Nikolic, and I am your instructor in Linguistics 341. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the final exam practice. The first assignment for you was for this final exam practice to determine which spectrogram or actually which word belonged to which spectrogram, or which spectrum represented which word, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you had some Hindi words that are different in their VOT apparently, and you had the Navajo word as an odd one out sort a way for you to try and determine whether this Navajo word would be somewhere there, right? And I think I'll start with that one, right? So you had to see which one is matching which. So a Navajo word, this t with an apostrophe means that this is an ejective, meaning that it's a glottalic aggressive way, or glottalic aggressive airstream mechanism that we talked about. So how is it represented in a spectrogram? Where you can see very easily that there is some space here between the two. There is some noise over there. It should be completely probably empty, but that's okay. There is some space between the start of a vowel and this ejective here, and the ejective has a lot of energy in a release burst, so to say. So that has to be an ejective. It's also not voiced, so that's another clue for t, right, for which is an ejective. The rest could not be ejectives. So we can say that number 5, or ta, is actually C, spectrogram C. Right. All right. Now let's go back to pal and pal, right? So here for number 2, we are expecting some kind of aspiration, right? So we have to search for aspiration. This one is out of question. There is no aspiration. This one might be the case. Let's see. This one we already had, so we don't want to include that one. This one has no aspiration at all, and this one has aspiration. So we have 2 candidates there, right? Now we know that p is voiceless. Let's try and look for any voicing bars. No voicing bars here, so this candidate seems good, right? Here there's some voicing bars, so something is not appropriate with this candidate, so we will say our PAL is actually spectrogram B, or PAL, which is aspirated, spectrogram B. Our PAL, which is unaspirated, is something else. So we again are searching for non-aspirated stop, which is a fully unvoiced stop, right? And stop that doesn't have these glottal pulses. So we don't want those glottal pulses or voicing bars. So the only candidate here that fits into our description is this one, spectrogram D, right? So spectrogram D it is. And we have the 2 more, which are voiced, bal and bal, right? We're searching for some kind of aspiration here, which is voiced. The first one does not have any aspiration. There is no noise here. So it must be spectrogram E, and here it is. This chunk here is noisy, right? Which resembles, and there are also formant frequencies structures that resemble the vowel formant frequencies, but it's still noise, so this is obviously a glottal fricative, or bal, right? Something like that, bal. So spectrogram E is our 4, okay, writing like this, and spectrogram A is our bal, right? So fully voiced, there is some pre-voicing here or negative VOT, and B portion, right? So this whole thing is B. Excellent. So that was the first exercise. The second exercise was a spectrogram alignment. So basically, we needed to align certain IPA symbols or speech sounds with the representation in a spectrogram. So we know that is a vowel, so it starts somewhere there. It has like frequencies that change a little bit, but it's somewhere in the middle, right, in the center. And p is this whole portion. So pay attention to stops. There should be no boundary between the two, so you cannot have an empty space in a spectrogram. Speech is continuous, right? There is no empty space. Speech is continuous, so we need a j portion. What's the j portion? Well, this whole thing is a j portion or ch portion. Jumped. Up jump bilbo, right? Is it j or ch? Yeah, I think it's j. So jumped bilbo, right? This one is not so voiced, so we can put it as voiceless, right? J. There is a d part here, or a stop part. This kind of thing is a stop part, and there is a fricative part here, whereby frication or turbulence has the highest intensity in higher frequencies over there. So this is the j part. A part is, so we now have, you can first do this, maybe transcribe it, right? Jumped. Oops. Okay. Trying to do this. Jumped like this, and bilbo. We can say maybe this, or even schwa, that's okay. Bilbo. Probably this guy here. So something, you're searching for these speech sounds, individual speech sounds, right? Now the next stop is a. A is obviously a vowel. It has some form and frequencies over there. This one drops in, right, a lot because of the change, right, from the affricate to the bilabial stop. So there is a boundary here, a little bit of boundary there, and we can say, okay, this is clearly our candidate for a. The next up is a nasal. We said nasal has higher intensity in lower frequencies, and obviously clearer boundary over there, right? Clear boundary here somewhere. So we would say this could be M. Okay, my M's are not working today. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, M. Jump. And now this part was a bit tricky because there are two stops in there. Probably this one should be T, a little bit aspirated, but that's okay. And this kind of guy here resembles P, right? Very little energy, but there is some kind of release burst, and it's maybe unreleased, right? Jumped. This whole thing is T. Okay. Right, my T's are terrible, but that's okay. Jumped. Now, the whole thing here is B, right? Here is the release burst, and this part is a stop, is a closure, right? For a stop, you always have a closure, and there needs to be some closing moment, right? Here, it's difficult to see, really. This could be another B, right? We can have it as a candidate for another B. And this could be O, right? Let's put it like that. O. I would be okay with that. Now, il is difficult a little bit to see because l is basically immersed between I and B, right? And it's quiet, and F2 is falling down or decreasing because of velarization, right? So we can say this could be A, B, or even a schwa. I would be okay with that. Bill, L is very short and it's here, right? And it's velarized. Bilbo. So this is what you need to do. And as I said, no need for any breaks between the two. No empty spaces. So this is not good. Empty space not good, right? Speech is continuous, and please pay attention to different cues and clues that you can have that this spectrogram gives you, right? This was number 2. Number 3 is or are mid-sagittal diagrams of 3 different fricatives. So pay attention, these are 3 different fricatives, so we know these are fricatives, right? Now we need to provide an IPA symbol for the fricatives. Now, how am I going to do this? Well, I don't have IPA symbols. You cannot draw in D12, so pay attention to this. You'll go to IPA chart, probably this one is okay. You can maybe select one. When you select it, you will immediately hear someone produce it, and then you can maybe copy it, right? What you can do later is just paste it. You will have this chance to paste it in D2L. Not I don't have this chance to paste it here on this preview or whatever PDF form. So what I'm going to do here instead, I'm going to use my IPA chart and see what kind of fricatives these are, right? So this one is obviously a fricative, right? Look at the lips. It's not bilabial. There is no rounding, so no rounding. Okay. The tongue is a little bit retroflex, so I might consider this a retroflex, postalveolar as well a little bit. If I'm not sure, I can leave it for now. So this can be a retroflex tongue. The next up is this one. No rounding again, right? Lips are spread. And the tongue is very near the uvula, right? So it must be uvular, and it's voiceless. There is no voicing in the vocal cords, right? So we need a uvular, voiceless, and that's this guy.
Ha, aha.
And you have even a, yeah, I cannot copy it, but you will copy it. You have even a production. All right, the next up, here the tongue doesn't do anything special. It's in the rest position, but the lips are rounded. So it must be a rounded voiceless one, which means that it's bilabial.
Fa, a fa.
Bilabial fricative, voiceless fricative, like f. All right, and this one, I guess it's a retroflex because you would have tongue more like this in this position if it were alveolar or post-alveolar. So I'm going to go with retroflex, and I will find it here somewhere. Okay, it's retroflex, it's voiceless.
Sha, a sha.
Sha, a sha, with this kind of diacritic hook. So I get s, and then a hook like this, right? Okay, my hook is not the best, but this is what it needs to look like, right? Maybe a lot of, quite big. I'll maybe do this. Okay, okay, this looks something like retroflex. All right, hope you understand this. So please pay attention to vocal folds, to lips, to tongue, right, to uvula, and you will get it. Excellent. Now, a more difficult question for you, and this will be a part of your untimed exam, actually, this one. So I decided for this to be part of an untimed exam. On the following page are power spectra. Power spectra. So basically this. Lower one presents frequency, and higher one, or x-axis is frequency, y-axis is amplitude or intensity. Amplitude, okay. Of two speakers producing the same English vowel. So English vowel, please read carefully. One of the speakers is male and one of the speakers is female. What are the approximate values of F0 in each spectrum? That's the first question. Okay, these are our power spectra. Speaker A, speaker 2, speaker B, right? So what the power spectrum is showing, number A, or A and B, right, are harmonics. So this is harmonic number 1, this is harmonic number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth. So these are harmonics. And remember, if you have a harmonic of 100 hertz, which is H1, your harmonic number 2 will be 200. Harmonic 3 will be 300, right? And so on and so forth. So these are some of the rules that harmonics are basically the integer multiples of H1 or F0 or fundamental frequency. So pay attention to that. Harmonic number 1 is your fundamental frequency. Right. So I can say, well, perhaps this is my fundamental frequency, right? Where should it be? Well, I'm not sure specifically, but I can see that for around 500 here is my like third harmonic. So I guess if you squeeze into 503 harmonics, what's that gonna give you? You can use calculator and say, well, 500 divided by 3 is 166. Okay, I'll say this one is probably 165, right? And I will be okay with approximation, estimation, right? F0. So my F0 of A is 165 hertz, right? That's my frequency. F0 of B, I assume, again, let's see. Okay, so it's somewhere there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can squeeze 4 harmonics into this, you can maybe divide, right? So 500 divided by 4 is 125, right? So 125 hertz is F0, or fundamental frequency, or harmonic number 1. What are the approximate values of F1 and F2 in each spectrum? Okay, now these are harmonics, right? But only some harmonics will resonate, right? And those that resonate strongest are called formant frequencies. So I assume that this is my F0, so it won't be the it won't be F1. I can see that this one will resonate most. It has the greatest amplitude, right? So I assume this one will be a F1. F1. So F1 in this case, if I'm not mistaken, is around what, 750, somewhere there. So for A, we have F1 and F2, right? Oops. Okay. It's difficult to draw here, but that's okay. I'll manage. F1, F2, which are basically, F1 is 750, approximately there, right? Okay. F2, where is my F2? So this is the first harmonic, right? And this is the formant frequency, or 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth harmonic, but the formant frequency, number 1. The second one, well, where is the highest peak? Well, here it is, right? This is my second one, F2. F2. And the second one is around, well, I don't know, I'll try to be more precise on an exam. So 2,424 or 25. I'll try to make it more precise. 24 700 hertz. And please, oops, okay, look at this. Yeah. Okay. Copying all the way down. Right. Now for B, my speaker B, F1, okay, F2, they are equal to what? So my F1 is here, my F2 is here. So basically, the first one, I don't know, could it be 650 or somewhere there, 700? That's okay. Let's say 700. Let me check the first one. Okay. Yeah, they're very close to each other. Right, 700 hertz, and second one is around, oops, okay, is around 1750, right? 1750 maybe hertz. So these are spoken by female and male, right? We can see that F0 of speaker A is higher than F0 speaker B, which means that probably female is speaker A and speaker B is male. And please write why you think so, right? Because of F0. Which vowel are the two speakers producing, and why do you think so? Well, they could be producing different types of vowels, right? In this case, on a certain plot, we can say it's quite high for one, quite low for F2 for this kind of production, and it's quite high F1. So I guess it could be A, it could be A, it could be A. For this one, I happen to know it's A, but this is a strange example, right? So I would be okay if you went with A, right? Or with A, too. All right. Well, that's how you're going to do it. When you plot it on F2 and F1 scale, and you plot the values here, right? Like 1000, right? And here maybe start with, I don't know, 400. Then you will get it, right? You will have a approximation of what this vowel could be. All right, that was it. And the next up is so this portion, this one, will be your for your final exam, but for the untimed portion. The next up is the phonetic classification of the following sounds. Right, so this is easy to do. What you need to do is basically say whether this one is voiceless or voiced, right? And if you, I know that I cannot make you learn them, but please, it would be good for you to know. Right, you could find it here, somewhere there. So this one is voiced epiglottal fricative, and that's what I'm going to write. Actually, I might even. This is how it's produced. So I'll just say voiced epiglottal fricative. This will be for your, okay, not cooperating with me. This will be on your D2L quiz. I hate this, okay. per moment. That's good. Right, voiced, epiglottal, fricative. This is n, which indicates that some kind of retroflexion there, right? So I'll have it
na, na.
na, a na. So it's a nasal retroflex and it's voiced, right? Okay. Let me try this way. Voiced, retroflex. Pay attention, retroflex is a place. Nasal stop. Please say nasal stop if you can, or write nasal stop, the full thing. All right, next up is this guy here. It's a fricative, it's a velar fricative, and it's voiced, right? Right, okay. The next up is labiodental nasal stop, and it's voiced, of course. So place is labiodental. Nasal stop. And finally, all is velar lateral approximant, right? And it's voiced as well. So I chose voiced for this exercise. So we have velar, lateral approximant. And that's all you need to do. You won't have it. You will have a table like this, but you will have to write down in a different text box on D2L. So this one is for D2L. Number 6 is for your untimed portion. The following spectrogram have been taken from productions of two different one-syllable English words. Each syllable begins with b and ends with d. While there is a vowel in the middle, plot each vowel in the vowel space below and label it with an appropriate type symbol. So you have to plot, you have to label it, you have to provide labels and scales. What this means is that you have to write to me that this is F2, this is F1, and you have to write values to me, right? So please write down, write down the values in whichever way you want, but for you to meaningfully represent these two. So I guess the first one, the F1 is kind of here, the F2 is kind of there for B, right? For A, the F1 is here, the F2 is there, right? And that's how we know. Approximately, I'll say this one is around, I don't know, 700. This one is almost like 1400, right? So 700, let's say 14, maybe I went high, but that's okay. And this one is around 500, that's okay, 500. And here it's around 2400 hertz. So that's how I'm going to plot it, right? F2, I don't need anything less than, I can start from 1200 in this case. This one can be 1300, 14, and so on and so forth, right? You'll write all of the values, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I don't have enough actually here, so I have to maybe stretch it a little bit. Maybe that was not the best idea. I can start from, that's how you're going to see what you need actually. So maybe I can start from 12, and then here I can say 14. I can say 16 here. 1800. Please write the full numbers in your exams. 20, 22, 24, right? Here F1, 500, 700. So basically I'll start from 400, 500. Okay, remove this guy here. 6, 7. This should be enough for me. 8. 524. So around somewhere there is my vowel. So some vowel, and around 714. So basically around somewhere here is this vowel for me. So this could be right, and this one could be cap I or E. That's okay. Oops. So E, right, somewhere there. So that's your approximation, and plot them properly, of course. Write down IPS symbols properly. And that's basically it. That's your assignment. So please plot each vowel, label it with appropriate IPS symbol, provide appropriate labels and scales, and you'll get points for all of it. All right. The next up is the bonus question. Give a phonetic transcription for the spectrogram of the 5-word sentence found below. Hint, it's climate. All right. So the first up is some kind of a stop here, right? There is some kind of a stop, and then we have right, something different. I can maybe show you here, right? That's the same thing over there. And for this one, I might want to do the following. I can maybe extract this part just to show you how I can annotate. How I can annotate it. Text grids. So text grids, I'll put here phonemes or phones. That's okay. And I'll consider it together, right? Okay, I don't need this. Oh no, it crashed. Not right now. I needed this. That's okay. All right. Sorry about that. Let me do it again. I'll find it in a minute. Okay, here it goes. Okay.
One.
So that's not the part I was looking for. Why is the spectrogram settings not standard? Okay. Should be there.
Awoke as usual.
Not really.
And herded the sheep up into the hills.
Yeah, I think it's there. Yeah. This is the one. All right. I'll do the same thing. Annotate to text grid. Then I'll write here phones or phonemes. Here I will leave it empty. Select both, and there you go. All right. So I have something here that I can do. I can break it, right, and play it. Right. So this part here obviously denotes some kind of a stop, right? Some kind of a stop. This stop is not stop in its traditional sense. It's more the, right? If you label it as the, that's okay, like the, literally the, if you put the here, but I want you to try and put this guy here, because there is not a whole lot of a release burst in there, right? And you cannot maybe see it here but there is slight fricative in there. Even if you can place like the and next to each other and then decide on one candidate, right? So you can have place holders there. The next up is, of course, a vowel, right? And this is a schwa. It has some kind of a centralized F1 and F2 that goes down quite a lot in order to meet something else, in order to meet what we call a semi-vowel, right? Semi-vowel here, which is what? So it should be there. Because F2 is low, right? As if, because this is its counterpart is U, and the F1 is relatively high, so, or even the F1 is lower, like, right? So we can say formal frequencies are not so visible, they're quite smeared, diffuse, so it has to be some kind of a glide, and the only glide that can be its what? Now the next up is something like, again, schwa, right? Again it rises, but it rises a bit more than it's used to, so maybe it goes up, right? So maybe we can say F2 is even higher, right, for this one, and I'll put A, right? Okay, so I'll put here schwa.
Web,
Right?
web,
So we can maybe have this
the web,
the way. Right. The next up is also some kind of fricative over there. There is a lot of noise. So I might assume that this one could be, again, the, right? It has a little bit even of glottal pulses in there that indicates that it could be voiced. The next up is, again, something like schwa-like, right? Here F1, F2, and even F3 goes down, right? If F3 goes down, it has to be something like erotic, right? Something like R, right? So let's see. All right, I'll put, okay.
there,
The weather, right? So we have the first word, which is
the weather,
the weather, and even I can place it here a little bit, right? Because it's already starts something differently. Something different starts here, right? What's that that's starting? Well, another, I guess, so R. Now for this assignment, you don't have to do you don't have to break it into boundaries, right? You just need to tell me what it is, right? Now we know that the weather, and here again a glide, again and a little bit of, this is fricative here. It can be voiced or voiceless, so you can put s or z, but apparently the weather was, I guess it can be z, like a voiceless. The weather was something, right? So the weather was, okay, was something. Let's see what it is. Here we have, so let me play it.
Was
Was here, even you can have
what
was.
what
It's still
what
schwa,
what
right?
was imp
Yeah, so here we have something that was again a schwa, and obviously a nasal, some kind of nasal, right? Because it's it has some kind of energy in a relatively middle part of the spectral properties then it has to be n smeared there, so we can say wasn't, right? Oops, I need schwa, very brief schwa there. Wasn't something, right? So this is a whole third part. What it wasn't something, right? So this could be a vowel, right? A vowel. Um, let's check this one out. Yeah, because there are multiple things in here. There are two kind of stoppages. Right? Don't get confused by what spectrogram is reading sometimes. This is T, and this guy here is some kind of a vowel, but not only a vowel.
very
It's also a V, which is barely visible, right? But F3 goes down, right? It's almost overlapping with F2, so I guess you can say
very
this could be
very
an E portion, right? Yeah. So we have to have V, E, very. Yeah, this one is roticized. Really, maybe even like that. But there is R. Very something. This guy here should be obvious. So here we have very. This guy here should be obvious because it has clear boundaries. N. And this one, because of course, for this one, we have F2 or F1 that is high, relatively high, and then it goes down a little bit right here, and then we have F2 that goes down and then up, so I guess maybe I, right? And then finally some kind of fricative there, like S, right?
nice
There is a lot of smearing there because this vowel is actually quite nasalized, right? Nice, right? Nice. And that there you have it. The weather wasn't very nice. That's the final solution to this spectrogram reading practice. So take a look at different cues, please, and try to do your best. Alright, that would be it for this video. Thank you very much and see you soon.